Yo, what is up guys, we're RapTRz here today, bringing you my first impressions video on Smite. Now if you're new to the channel, I was a Paragon YouTuber and I've been playing Paragon for a year and a half, almost 2 years, and I just want to make this video since I've been transitioning into Smite. Obviously a lot of people from Paragon, as you've heard, have had a great migration, and we're all trying to find different games to play, since a lot of us, you know, most of the games we played was just Paragon. So I want to do this video to kind of highlight my first impressions, my initial thoughts, some of the first things I noticed with my first couple games, and overall just the differences between Smite and Paragon and the positives and the negatives. The first thing I noticed, and obviously the biggest reason most Paragon players do not want to play Smite, is the graphics. Paragon had next-gen graphics. It had very good visual aesthetics that a lot of people liked looking at. It was just a nice game to look at, especially back on the old map on Legacy. It was very, very nice. The art team of Paragon was very talented. The hero designs, the visual effects, everything was really, really nice and sleek. Even the new HUD rework we got in Monolith, you know, the lobby, player lobby where you select your heroes, was also very nice. And it was just overall a good looking game. And one of the things that Paragon really captured in this next gen of games on the market is obviously the graphics. I feel like graphics, especially in today's market, attracts a lot of attention because most of the games having that graphic appeal is a big deal now, especially with people with the PC market being so big now. It's more popular than ever. People buy PCs and they spend and they dump money into these PCs so they can play these very nice looking games at high quality, at a high FPS. So when you play that game, you're like, man, this money I spent on my PC was definitely worth the money. You know, you look at this game you're playing, it's like, wow, you know, that's just a wow factor, and it's just a factor that a lot of gamers are appealed to. And obviously that's one of the biggest reasons that attracted me to Paragon, I'm not gonna lie, was the graphics. I didn't even know what a freaking MOBA was before, but I just knew Paragon looked good. It was a good looking game. And obviously the thing with Smite is the graphics are not up to date. It feels a little outdated. The graphics are cartoony, and I get that's probably the art style they were going for, and that's completely fine, because honestly after the first couple games, you know, the art style doesn't really matter. The core gameplay of Smite is a MOBA, and that's what made me commit to Paragon. You know, the graphics made me come, and then the gameplay made me stay. That sounded completely wrong, but but yeah, the gameplay made me stay. And when Smite, you get the gameplay. If you're looking for a MOBA, if you like the strategy, you like the gameplay between the heroes, Smite is a MOBA. The heroes are there. You have your tanks, your mages, you have the lanes, you have jungles, you can still gank. You know, all that is there. And to be honest, the gameplay is a lot better in Smite than it was in Paragon. Paragon was really struggling as far as balance. They kind of got it balanced at the last couple days. It's probably as balanced as it is right now, but they always had a trouble with balancing, and the gameplay was kind of unhealthy. You know, the stun lock meta, the CC was just overwhelming. In Smite, you won't get stun locked. You know, there is counterplay. You have relics, you know, you can run in Aegis, there's CC immunity, there's a lot of escapes, there's counterplay. It's Smite, which is very, very nice. But honestly, you know, when people make this argument that Smite has these cartoony graphics, and, you know, if Smite had better graphics, it would be a way better game, or a better, you know, quote-unquote MOBA. You know, you can't really say that when the biggest MOBA on the platform, League of Legends, doesn't have next-gen graphics, you know? And yet, it's the most viewed game on Twitch, and it has the biggest esports scene almost in the game industry, I want to say. You know, and maybe it's not at its prime as it was before, but it's still a big esports game. And why? Because the gameplay, it has good gameplay. You know, there's counterplay, it's just a good game, a good strategy game. And that's what I always thought about MOBAs is kind of that pinnacle of a strategy game. You know, it's kind of a genre where you kind of evolve as a gamer, you get more intrigued into strategy games that are more in-depth, you know. And that's something that Paragon did lack, and which is going to bring me to my next point, is the heroes. In Paragon they were called heroes, in Smite they're called gods. The gods in Smite, comparing them with the hero kits in Paragon, I could probably say the gods in Smite have more interesting kits. Just playing with a couple of them, you can tell right off the bat that some of these kits were inspired, you know, from Smite when you're looking at the Paragon heroes. The Paragon's heroes kits, they started to get kind of boring. I'm not even gonna lie, you know, some of the last heroes we got in Paragon, their kits were not even that interesting. They were boring. You know, you clicked one button and it did this, and that was pretty much it. And a lot of the hero kits in Smite that I've noticed, the gods, there's a lot of passives. In Smite, you actually have passives. So you have a passive slot, and then you have 4 ability slots, I believe. Yeah, 4. So overall, you have 5 abilities, and a lot of these abilities have also other passives within the abilities that are active. So there's a lot of depth in the kits, and that's something that I really like. And I just really like the kits of the gods in Smite. So that's also a very big positive. The itemization system is a lot better. You can actually counter build. Counter building is a thing in Smite, whereas in Paragon you were kind of set to this, you know, these decks and these cards, and if you didn't know what your enemy was building, then you were kind of screwed, and you had to kind of stick with that and play with what you had, which was kind of interesting, but at the same time it had its negatives as well, which is something I never really liked about Paragon, was that but anyways, I digress. I don't want to get too much into that. So yeah, the heroes I feel a lot better. Also the game modes. If you're not familiar with Paragon, Paragon never had any other game modes. It only had one game mode, that was Conquest. I guess it was a 5v5 map with 3 lanes, your towers, you have a buff, and then you have a sub buff, then you have your jungle. In Smite there is Arena, you know, there's Conquest, the traditional game mode, which is the one we had in Paragon if you want to compare them. Then there's, you know, Joust. I've been having a lot of fun with Joust. You know, I've been having a lot of fun with these other game modes that just are refreshing for a Paragon player. There was those times in Paragon where you wanted to play Paragon, but you did not want to play 5v5. Like, man, I wish Paragon had a Joust mode. I wish it had an Arena mode, you know. That would have been so refreshing. You know, honestly, another thing why I've been really enjoying Smite, it's a breath of fresh air, man. I don't want to play 5v5. I've been playing 5v5 for a year and a half almost, and it gets really stale after a while. Like, nobody wants to be a sweaty tryhard every damn game when you play, you know, 5v5 in Paragon. So that was really nice to see. Also, relics are really refreshing as well. I wish Paragon just freaking honestly copied Smite and had more slots for consumables. It's very nice. The gameplay in Smite, it's addicting. It really is. You know, the graphics doesn't really matter after a while. It feels good. You know, it's like Fortnite. You know, Fortnite has this cartoony style, and after a while, you don't really care about the graphics. You know, you just like the gameplay and you like the adrenaline, and that's honestly the biggest thing. You know, if you're a MOBA player, you will like Smite. So if you're watching this video and you're a Paragon player and you haven't given Smite a chance, honestly, give it a chance, man. Play some Joust. You know, I know you've been playing 5v5 for the longest time in Paragon. Play Joust, man. Play Arena. You just learn the heroes. You will have a fun time. It's really fun once you get into it. Also, another thing right off the bat that I noticed when I was first playing Smite was the verticality. This is a big kind of a misconception that a lot of Paragon players have with Smite, is that there's no verticality, you can't look up and down. There's actually an option in the game that you could turn off that will allow you to look up and down, so you can look up and down. You don't feel like you're cemented on the ground. So there's that, and there's honestly more verticality in Smite than there was in Paragon. Monolith, you know, Epic tried to sell Monolith as it still has verticality. Let's be honest here, a lot of Paragon players knew that the verticality in Monolith was even relevant at all. There was very few heroes that were able to utilize the verticality in Monolith. But when I was playing Smite, there is more verticality in Smite that there was in Monolith on Paragon. There's a lot of heroes that have jumps. You can jump over walls, jungle walls. You can, you know, I was playing Nike. I made a video, and Nike can very much use verticality in Smite. There's a lot of heroes that can use verticality in Smite. Now, did Smite have more verticality than it had in Legacy in Paragon? No, there was more verticality in Legacy in Paragon. So yeah, there was more verticality there, but Smite definitely had more verticality than it did in Monolith, the current version we have in Paragon. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much my initial thoughts and my first impressions of playing Smite for over a week now. Was the gameplay, the graphics, and then the gods and their kits, comparing them to the ones we had in Paragon. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and what I thought about this. And don't get me wrong, guys, I love Paragon. It was my favorite game of all time, I want to say, and it did have a special place in my heart. I'm not making this video just to roast Paragon, but I'm just stating facts and what I've seen by playing Smite. It just feels like a lot better game mechanically and gameplay wise. It just feels a lot healthier. We all knew here from being Paragon fans, and the biggest statement I will always say about Paragon, and that most people will agree with, is it had potential. It had potential, and we never got to see that potential, and that's where the biggest gripe comes out from this game, is the disappointment. It's very disappointing, and it's sad, man. It's very sad, you know, and it gets people angry, and people were confused, and people are mad, and it sucks, man. It really does. But you know, at this point, it doesn't really matter. You know, you gotta move on. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be in tune for more Smite gameplay. I have a very interesting gameplay coming out soon where I went ham with Raging. I can't believe the freaking game I had with that dude. It was so fun. I'll be making a video about that soon. Anyways, it's your boy RapTRz, and I'll see you guys later.